Bets, and Buddies, the Hounds of Business Fantasy Football League. Join us each week throughout the football season as some of the world's top podcasters discover new businesses, make silly fantasy football bets amongst friends, and promote positivity around the globe. This show could not be possible without the support of Mike King and ESPN Richmond. A special thanks to our sponsors, Caregiving Worldwide, Brilliant Beam Media, and the Walking Tall Movement.
Hello, welcome everybody. We are live with Business Bets and Buddies. I am your co-host today, Raquel Borras, and I have Geoff Woliner. Did I get it right?
Not even remotely close, but I appreciate the effort. That does not go unnoticed.
Great. Okay, off to a great start. So I know that we had our little intro, we had our sponsors, but I'm going to go ahead and give them a shout out again because we love our sponsors. So we have Mike King Biz, and he's over giving us a spot at the ESPN Radio 106.1, Walking Tall Movement, advocating strength and vulnerability to walk tall. And we have Hounds of Business Community, building authentic connections with real business results. Caregiving Worldwide, the first dedicated streaming network for the caregiving industry. And Brilliant Beam Media, production of this show. And because everybody loves Sia. I gave her the shout out she deserves. Now, speaking of walking tall, my special guest today is someone that has walked tall. This is Tehan. Now, his dad and I have been very, very good friends for years. Ethan is a very, very special kid. And I wanted to bring him on because being that I do rock the boat, and it is empowering our youth, I figure what better way to empower our youth than to bring on a senior in high school. So Ethan is a senior, and he has his own podcast for sports as well, so we'll let him plug that. And he is a leukemia survivor, so that's a big deal because he has partnered up with the Leukemia Society to bring awareness. And before we say hi to Ethan, I want, obviously, Geoff, our co-host, to at least give himself an introduction really quick. He does exist.
Okay. Hey, everyone. I'm Geoff Woliner. I'm the founder of this. I'm the founder of that. I've done a little bit of this and a little bit of that. I'm an author. I'm a speaker. I'm a this. I'm a that. That's it. We're done. Let's get to Ethan. You all came here to hear from Ethan.
Yes. Ethan, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about yourself and, what you're doing with your podcast, because we do want to be able to promote what you're doing. So do share.
Well, start off right now. I'm a busy senior kid, so it's how it is. But I mean, to jump into it, to kind of plug my podcast real quick, I do it on Spotify and YouTube. I talk sports, both football, basketball. It's called Halftime Adjustment. But besides,
hopefully your dad puts the link. Hey, Josh, I see you're in the comments. Go ahead and drop his link.
Hi, Dad. But I mean, besides what I want to do when I'm older, which is just being in that sports world, I'd also do other things outside of school as well. Like you mentioned, the LLS. I am a cancer survivor, and I'm helping give back to LLS who gave help to me when I had it. So I'm running a campaign and hoping it goes well come late January and early March, I think, is when it ends. So I'm excited for that. Been working hard on that. And I'm doing that school stuff,
Yeah.
that boring school stuff.
Well, that's important.
Is it though? Don't be a bad influence on him. Come on.
Listen, I am a college dropout, so let's be real here. All right, so let's get into it because I am here smiling and everything, but I am bitter. Okay, so Geoff and I were matched up this week in fantasy football. And I think next to Rocky Flores, we had the lowest scoring points of the entire league. What happened, Ethan, with my Chargers? I just want to get some insight because Ethan's really smart when it comes to sports. So, Ethan, what's happening here? What's going on?
Are you meaning just for the game, or are you meaning for the whole year, the past 3 years? I mean,
no, it's okay. Yeah, it was a loaded question. No, actually, my question is, I do have a legit question when it comes to fantasy football. What happens when you keep benching people and they keep doing better than your starters, but when you hear all the like talk before you do the lineup for every week, I always get them saying, no, you got to start Hurts, you got to start your Miami defense or whatever, and then the Jets do better on defense. Then Goff, who's my backup quarterback, has been doing better than Hurts. So it's like, when do you listen to the experts and when do you not?
so I'm gonna be honest. I don't listen to experts at all. I go with
Okay.
strictly gut. I go with Matt.
Okay.
I'll give you an example. So earlier this year, Nick Chubb went down with an injury, and it was very sad to see. And I was like, it would be so smart for the Cleveland Browns to pick up a former player called Kareem Hunt, former player that played for the Browns. And what did they do that week? They picked up Kareem Hunt. I picked him up before he was even signed to a team. You kind of have to go with your gut. And I have no room to talk. I'm 2-4. It's been really rough for me. It has. I mean, this past week, I just got demolished. I mean, 160 to 130. That was what it was. And it was. Did I cry myself to sleep? Maybe, but it's rough. I'm a Broncos fan.
I know.
That is
Believe me,
rough.
I know.
Uh, to answer your question though, I say go with your gut. If you're
Okay.
a matchup that's a bad matchup, don't go with them. Go with the guy that's been consistent and is going up against a bad team.
Okay. Geoff, do you have like a strategy with your team?
Yeah, put all their names up against the wall, have a couple of beers, and throw darts and hope for the best. Traditionally, that has been the genesis of all my best teams. I'm the commissioner of a league and have been for 10 years, so I thought I was going to come in here as a ringer, and I am getting absolutely smoked by people who don't know what state the Chargers play in. So,
right, or live in a different
amazing.
country that don't
Yes.
even watch American football. Okay, I know. Sorry, Soaring Profits. Yeah, one of our teams, they're in Canada, so we like to make fun of the fact that they don't even know what football is. Now, Ethan. Now, with your podcast, you have like a co-host with it, right? Or is it just you talking about like sports every week? Like, I want to know what the whole kind of premise is around, because they put it up on. Do you notice the little QR code up here? Yes. So I want you to talk about it a little bit.
Absolutely. So I try to do it every week. I really do. But the premise of it is me and two of my buddies get on and we just get right into it. We talk sports. I set up a little thing for what we're going to talk about. Like usually I'll text them. I'll say, all right, we're going to talk about week 6 matchups. Then we're going to do a segment that I call Fast Pass. And what that is either I'm the host of that segment or one of my two buddies is. But let's say I'm the host and my two buddies have to square off. And I ask them a question like, who had the last Super Bowl? And whoever gets it right first, they get a point. And it's a little fun thing that we do. And then we go right back into talking, all right, NBA, who's gonna lead the league in points? Who's gonna go all the way? And we kind of just dissect what we think about a question and we debate, talk about it. It gets fun, it gets chippy. I like it.
See, there's another word, Geoff, like chippy. Have you heard chippy as being a description of something?
I have heard chippy, and I just do want to give Raquel, I want to give you a quick shout out. I know you are a very proud UCLA Bruin.
Yes.
And because of that, I wanted to show you a little bit of love tonight. So I wore this shirt just in your honor.
Right you are awful. You are a bad. As if it wasn't bad enough that you already beat me, and then you have to do that. You know what? Yeah. You're lucky that we've actually met in person and I like you, because
real talk.
That's not cool. Well, speaking of the Chargers, so I'm sure you guys watched the game last night, and it's always fun. Yeah. So I feel like she was reacting the same way I was reacting in the bar last night. This woman, I mean, how hilarious were her like reactions? And then of course the buzz this morning, apparently there was a picture of her at a Ravens game. So then they were questioning the Chargers, saying that they planted her as a fan at the game and it was all just for, for press and social media. But apparently she's a legit Chargers fan. Did you see that, guys, last night?
Yeah, I saw it. It was first time I saw him. Like, I feel her. I feel every emotion that she's feeling.
Yep.
Oh, whatever, Ethan. You're a Broncos fan. You wanted the Cowboys to beat us.
I never want the Cowboys to win.
Okay.
There's some that every 31 NFL fans can agree on.
That's a sign of a great American right there.
Yeah.
I was watching this woman on TV, and my immediate thought was, is it weird that she's my new favorite human?
Right. You know me? Hey, she's taking over Taylor Swift.
She has. She has.
I actually was excited about that. I was like, yay, they're actually giving some female more TV time than Taylor Swift at a football game. Good for her. That's a hard thing to do.
Ethan, I got a prop bet for you with you and your buddies.
Ooh.
Over under on when Taylor Swift leaves Travis Kelce for Fireman Ed from the Jets. I've got Halloween as the cut date. What do you think?
You're thinking about it?
Fish aren't biting. That's fine. That's fine. It was a weird bet anyway, but
I'm sorry. It cut off for me.
Oh, it cut out. Yeah. It's probably a good thing you didn't hear his bet.
Probably not worth repeating.
First of all, who's Fireman
I heard
Ed?
Jets. Are we talking about Aaron Rodgers?
No, we're talking to Fireman Ed, like the greatest NFL fan in history from the Jets. He's an actual fireman. He's been going to the games for like 20 years. And he just leads the JETS chant every single week. And that's
I think I saw him. I think I saw him Sunday.
Best intro ever. Sorry, I'm like
that's
looking at the
Taylor's
comments.
New Boo by Halloween, I guarantee you.
You think, okay, so I don't know. I think Halloween, that's just what, less than 2 weeks away. So you think it's not going to even last another 2 weeks?
What do you think, Ethan? I don't think it stands a chance.
Yeah, Ethan, how do you feel about that? Like your generation, is it like, you guys are fans of Taylor? I don't know. Like, how does that land on you guys?
Actually, so with guys, we do not care. We do not care about her music. Now, me, 2010s, I was absolutely singing Love Story to myself. I was rocking with that song. I was walking, You Belong With Me. I was jamming to that.
Gotcha.
Me now, I don't want to look back at all. I see myself and I'm like, I don't want to go back. But girls my age and like through their 20s, they love Taylor Swift because she connects with them. And honestly, good for Taylor Swift. She's making money off of it. So
yeah. Well, oh my gosh, your dad goes, Taylor Swift will release her single the day after they break up. Yes. And oddly enough, it'll already be like the love story of her and Travis of the 3 weeks that they've been together. But yeah, that's insane. I'm sorry. I'm over it. Like as a female fan, I don't care.
I'm drafting her next year in the first round.
Yeah, I actually got the over this week on amount of times that she'll be shown on TV. I got the over 12.5.
So you guys actually do have bets with your friends then?
Oh, I bet all the time with my friends on football games.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Geoff, now when you watch the games, like do you have like a ritual? Do you like to watch them at home? Do you go to a bar? Like what's your traditional Sunday look like?
It changes every single year. We had the most amazing crew here. And then what happens, and you were one of them, by the way, and not in the crew, but you were one of the DMV residents here who decided, I'm just going to be part of the great diaspora that just leaves the rest of us behind. And you took off and everyone else took off. So now my entire league is in Texas and Louisiana and California and Chicago and New Jersey and here, there, and everywhere. And then there's just like a couple of us left. And among the few of us left, they got kids. So I need a brand new football crew right now.
Oh, I know.
All orders out there.
I realized that earlier. I was like, oh my gosh, Geoff is in Virginia. Ethan is in Virginia. I left. Like, what happened here? Like, what? Like, this just doesn't feel right. I feel like I should be sitting in Leesburg right now.
I had to go to Connecticut to meet you for the first time and then Denver the second time.
Oh my gosh. So apparently there's a request to acknowledge Mark Reed in this league. We do have someone that lives in Japan. that's part of this league. So that's also kind of odd as well. So we have the Canadians, and then we have Japan, and then Mark, he probably just said something, who's okay. But I would like to state everyone here that Mark was 4-0, and then he was up against me. And who knocked him off? Thank you very much.
We were all pulling for you. It's the one and only time I became like a giant fanboy of Rock the Boat.
I was like the one time that everybody was like, I think behind me on this one. After that, everybody was like, who cares? But yeah, sorry, Mark. We love you though. I mean, thanks to Mark. Isn't Mark kind of the one that would like brought you in and brought me in to this league?
He is. Yeah. He's the vacuum cleaner that went out and got us strays and brought them into this whole hound business here.
The island of the misfits, basically. Oh my gosh. So Ethan.
Yes.
You are a senior, and I don't mean to put you on the spot here with this and your dad watching and who else. What are your plans for when you graduate?
Well, the first off is say thank God.
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
It's okay. You can say that. Most people want to graduate from high school and become adults and move on with their lives.
Then you want to go back.
Exactly.
I'll most likely want to go back at some point.
You
but
will.
I go to college is my first thing. I want to try to go to JMU. That's my hope. That's my dream.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep.
Okay.
I want to try to go there. After that, learn some more about this whole podcasting thing. I mean, this is a step in the right direction, what we're doing here.
Yes.
And try to fulfill my dream of being a sports broadcaster, kind of like Pat McAfee,
Yeah.
Doing that stuff.
Wow. Well, I mean, I feel like really special, don't you, Geoff? Like that we're like kind of like setting the stage and like for him, like we could say that we knew Ethan way back when we were some misfit football league live streamers.
One day in the not so distant future, I'm going to be muttering to myself saying, I know this guy. Like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah. Here, take some more. Okay, fine. Go to sleep now. But that will be happening. And I'm excited to know that at least right now I'm lucid for it and it is happening. So this is awesome. Ethan, you're gonna rock it, man. There's no doubt in my mind.
I hope so.
No, I mean you're killing it just on here, and you can tell that you are very knowledgeable when it comes to sports, and it's so important. Like I feel like with sportscasters, when I see them on TV, like you have to be quick, right? Because you don't really know, where the conversation is going, but I feel like you still have to be really like you have to have like stats, like always.
Always have to have
random
stats.
Random stories from the 90s too that have nothing to do with the game that's happening. It's got to just find a way to just plug those in.
Is that a thing?
It is. Like you could say, oh yeah, they ran a lot more in the 90s than they do now. So you got to say something like that for a conversation.
Oh my gosh, I love it. So I want to at least like get a little bit time for Geoff to kind of let us know what you're doing right now, because I did see that you were with like a coach that, or it was, what was it, Jamar? You guys did like a sizzle reel, right?
We did a sizzle reel, and it's the first sizzle reel in my life that didn't involve a steak. So this is pretty exciting for me. It's it's filming a new speaker reel for a new initiative that I'm putting forward called Imagine the Day. And It's going to essentially apply to everything. It's long story short, all the trouble we have in the world right now is because we were all able to imagine it. But what if we were able to imagine something different? This is putting forward an alternate, positive, expansive vision of the future that everybody can use in their own lives.
Love it. Okay. I wanted to make sure you got a little plug. But we did have a question for Ethan. So apparently they want to know, what are some of the bets that you have with your friends? Obviously you have the one with how, often Taylor Swift pops up the screen, but what other bets that you have?
Well,
that you're able to share.
It's all sports. Don't worry. It's all sports. So I only have two, including that one. So the other one I have is how the Broncos will play this weekend. And we play the Green Bay Packers. And the bet is that Jordan Love will throw over 250 yards. Over, under. I said over. My friend says under.
Oh, I already played against Love, so I forget who has Love in our fantasy team, but I've already been matched up with him, so I'm hoping that that doesn't happen.
I think it's the over. I'm going to go with you on the over. I think honestly, My grandmother's been dead 15 years, and she would hit the over against the Broncos defense if she were lined up against them right now. So I'm kind of liking Jordan Love's chances, and by extension, I'm liking yours too.
Okay, easy.
I was
I'm
going to say
still
ouch,
really
but okay.
hurt
Yeah.
fan here.
We could be real here. You guys have had some great years. You're gonna have some more great years. Yeah. But this is part of the deal. It's part of the valley.
I don't know. It's that AFC West. As long as the Chiefs are in our division, like the rest of us are screwed for a really long time. Like I thought the Chargers were going to be hopeful this year, but they're not showing any.
Got to fire the coach. Got to fire the coach.
And you know what? I've noticed he's like growing a beard. Do you think it's a superstitious thing that now he has like, because isn't November Movember? And we're not in November yet, right?
Yeah, beard, no beard. You guys are probably going 9-8.
Okay, great. Well, and apparently your dad has a question for you. We want to get that before we start closing out. Your dad wanted to, Ethan, what are your recommendations for those who are just starting fantasy football? Great question, Dad.
Well, Dad, I know you're new to this as well. First, my suggestion is look up how fantasy draft boards usually go. That's usually running backs, receivers go around the first pick. Next, I'd go with how consistent these players have been through their career. Like you could see what their average yards are, average touchdowns. Like last year, Austin Eckler was number 1 in fantasy. So I'd like this year, if I was drafting, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to look to draft Austin Eckler because he was number 1
he's
running
on my
back last
team.
year. Yep. And how's he doing for you besides injuries?
Yeah. A lot of good that did yesterday.
Yeah.
Okay. Whatever, dude.
But I'd look for guys that are sleepers. I always look up ESPN sleepers. I always do that before a draft, and then I try to draft those guys mid to late round.
Okay.
They can often boom.
Did you hear that, folks? So for those of you that have never done this, like, there you go. I think it's a fun thing to do. Like, honestly, because as someone that definitely has like a team to watch, this is making me watch like all the games and really root for I've been rooting for the Eagles this year, which I never do because Hurts is my QB and Devonta Smith is a receiver and Elliott's my kicker. So it's kind of funny, like in that respect, where you're rooting for people that you would never root before. So I like that about the league.
It's got a flip side though, because if you do have a team, you have to root for players on teams you can't stand.
True. That's why I don't have any Raiders on my fantasy team.
Stick around. It'll happen. Do this long enough. It will happen.
I think the only Raider people want is Jacoby Myers. Other than that, none of them's playing that good.
Yeah, all right. Well, I want to give the opportunity for Geoff to say something before we head out and for Ethan to say something. And I've already said enough. So Geoff, we'll let you, and then Ethan can, kind of give us the outro.
Well, just 2 quick things. If you guys are looking for a good read over the holidays, check out The Path to Perfectia on Amazon. It's my new release.
It's a good one.
And take this home with you. And remember it. A better world is coming because of you.
I like that. Ethan, can you top that?
You put me on the spot.
I know.
That was good. All right. I'm just going to keep it simple. Check out my podcast, Halftime Adjustment. It was up on the screen earlier. Trying to grow it. And other than that, I would like to thank everyone for listening to me and having me on here. It's really, truly amazing. And thank you.
You're welcome. And thank you to everyone that was joining in. This was fun, and we hope to see you next week. I don't know who the matchup is, but stay tuned so that you can see who that is. And yay, football.
This show would not be possible without the support of Mike King and ESPN Radio. A special thanks to our sponsors, Caregiving Worldwide at caregivingworldwide.com, Brilliant Beam Media at brilliantbeammedia.com, and the Walking Tall Movement at walkingtallmovement.com. Walk tall.